All right, guys, in this video, we're going to finish up what we did in the last video, and then I want to introduce the idea of the mean value theorem. So if you were in class, I'm pretty certain you understood it pretty well. As mean value theorem says in English, there's some value, C. So there's some X value, actually. Let's say it like that, where the tangent line equals the secant line. So, for example, let's say we had the slope of the secant line is here. Let's say this is equal to 2. Well, we can draw a tangent line, whether it be here. No, that doesn't look parallel to it. Maybe I'll draw it here. No, that doesn't look parallel to it. Maybe here. Okay, that looks parallel to it. So where the slope of the secant line has the same value of the slope. So what we're going to try to do mostly is find that X value. They call it C, but where that occurs. So this is not a difficult concept. You just need to kind of talk yourself through it. The slope of the tangent line equals the slope of the secant line. Most of the time, we can find the slope of the secant line, right? That's just f of b minus f of a over b minus a. So this is secant line. So we're going to find where the slope of the secant line equals the slope of the tangent line, which is f prime of x. And then we need to figure out when that happens. So we're looking for that X value. Okay, that's what we're doing. Now, in order for the mean value theorem to be applied, two things have to be true. Function has to be continuous and differentiable. Okay? So make sure you state that when you're using MVT. Okay, you can abbreviate it. You could say MVT, but you always want to say it's continuous and differentiable. Therefore, we can apply MVT. Okay? So first one is this. I'm going to lean towards open brackets because we're going to assume that it's differentiable. Let's just say we're going to apply MVT. It has to be on an open interval because to check the differentiability, it can't be differentiable at the endpoints, right? Because you have to check the left and the right-hand side limits. Can't do that if it's a closed interval. So we're going to say open interval. So I'm going to find the derivative. I distribute. So here we go. So we get this function, just derive it. So it's 3x squared minus 2x minus 2. That's the slope of the tangent line. So this is slope of... All right, so I just realized a mistake over here, so I just went ahead and I fixed it. But this was correct here. So basically, it's slope of the tangent line. So this is definitely the slope of the secant line. So I want to find at what x value is the slope of the tangent line equal to the slope of the secant line. So this represents the slope of the tangent line equal to slope of the secant line, which is a value. Bring this over. I can then solve this for x. Factor it. I get x equals 1. X equals negative 1/3. This one we're going to throw out because it is in an open interval. So it would be at x equals negative 1/3. All right, for the second one, let's see. This one, we cannot apply MVT because it is not continuous at 1. All right, because that's not a lot on MVT. We're going to practice in class on Monday. I have a practice with some more examples, but that's kind of the idea. Not difficult. It's better if you just sort of talk your way through it a little bit. But normally we're solving for that C value, which is really just an X value. All right, so now we're going to talk about, I kind of brought this up in the last video. We're just going to do some examples here. So where is the graph increasing, decreasing, relative max, relative min? So when I look at this graph here to the right, this one is decreasing, then constant, then increasing. Here the slope is negative. Here the slope is 0. And here the slope is positive. Okay? Normally what we do, this is a little weird of a graph. So let me just draw another graph over here. So let's say we have a graph that looks like this. So negative, positive, slope is 0. So slope of the tangent line here is 0. If I drew a tangent line here, it's positive. If I drew a tangent line here, it is negative. Okay, so if a graph goes from decreasing 0 to increasing, it's going to be a minimum. If it goes from increasing to decreasing, so let's say like this, increasing 0 to decreasing, it's going to be a maximum. So again, the slope here is 0. Slope here is positive. Slope here is negative. Okay, so again, we're going to have to figure out where's the slope 0. And just because it's 0 does not mean it's going to become a max or a min. Okay, it potentially can become a max or a min. Okay, so let's go through how we're going to find the maximum and minimums. All right, so the first one says find the interval for which it's increasing, and we're going to find the max min. And then I'd like to go over how the AP asks these types of questions and how you're expected to answer them. So increasing, decreasing, local extrema, justify. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to set the derivative equal to 0. Again, you want to consider, let me write this down, f prime of x equal to 0 and f prime of x equals does not exist. In this case, we don't worry about does not exist because there's no fractions to worry about. So I'm just going to take the derivative, I'm going to set it equal to 0, and I'm going to factor it. Because I've never seen the quadratic formula used on the AP exam. So please make sure you know how to factor, okay? So whatever, took out the 6, factored it. So these are potential max or mins. These are critical numbers, okay? So this is what we would call a critical number. So I'm going to test them on a number line. Now, this is not a justification. You can certainly use this to help you, but it's not a justification. So I'm going to put my -1/2 and 3. So what I want to do is figure out what the slope is doing, because remember, there's all the graphs we've talked about thus far. If the graph was increasing, we said the slope was positive. If the graph was decreasing, the slope was negative. So if I can find the slope, it's going to tell me if the graph is increasing or decreasing. All right, so again, if the slope is positive or the slope is negative. So I'm going to pick any point to the left of -1/2. So I think I chose -1, as I'm plugging it into the slope. So I'm plugging it into the derivative. Now, I highly recommend you plug into the factored version of it because all you need is the sign. You don't need a value. So all I need to do is just kind of figure out if I plugged in -1 here, this stays negative, this stays negative, so it's positive. Anything between here, so a 0, I actually plug that in here, I got a negative, and then plug in something bigger. Just looking at that, obviously this is positive, like that. So this is increasing, decreasing, increasing. This tells me that this is, so increasing to decreasing, it's a maximum, decreasing to increasing, this is a minimum. I just need to put that into an answer. This is not an answer. So increasing, so f of x is increasing from -∞ to -1/2 and then 3 to infinity. The rationale is because the derivative is positive. So we say f prime of x is greater than 0. Okay? So f prime of x is greater than 0. That's it. F of x is decreasing here. So -1/2 to 3 because f prime of x is less than 0. There's nothing more than that. Just short to the point. Relative max, relative min. Same idea as velocity. Okay, we could say that f prime of x changes from negative to positive. That would be a minimum, and then a max would be positive to negative. So at each of those two x values. All right, then this one is a really good example. I do want to make one point here, and it's kind of the point of this whole thing. If you can understand that, you are in good shape for now. Again, there's no restrictions in this domain. So I'm going to bring it up right now, actually. So let's talk about it. So there's no restrictions. There's no domain restrictions. There's no fractions. There's no asymptotes. Okay, you can plug in anything for x and you'll get an answer for y. When you derive this, so you're going to get, we start with x to the 2/3. When you derive that, you do chain rule, right? So you do 2/3, and then you lower the power by 1. You get x to the negative 1/3. So you end up with this. This goes to the bottom of a fraction. So there was no domain restrictions in the original, but now we have restrictions in the derivative. That's really important. So that tells me that there's no asymptote on the graph, but this tells me there's probably some sort of a cusp or something where it's not differentiable, but it can be a max or a min, right? Because that's the whole point of this, is because if this is where it's undefined, again, it's not differentiable. This is not differentiable, but it potentially could be a maximum or a minimum. So it is still a critical number. Is something like this is not a critical number. So pay attention here. So let's say you had, 1 over x minus 1 squared is y. So that's my original function. There's a domain restriction at x equals 1. That's a vertical asymptote. So on your graph, all right, so we have a vertical asymptote here. So it obviously can't be differentiable there. It's not even continuous there. But there's a domain restriction in the original question. So when you do the derivative of this, let me just rewrite this. You could do quotient rule, but I'm going to rewrite it like this. I want to make a point here. See how the bottom it's undefined at 1? That's going to stay in every derivative that you take going forward. There's always going to be x minus 1 on the bottom. So like y prime would be negative 2x minus 1 to the negative 3. So y prime equals negative 2, and then x minus 1 cubed. You see how the x minus 1 stayed on the bottom? Like once it's here at the beginning, it's going to be there every single time going forward. So what's the rule of thumb for a critical number? You set equal to 0, and you set it where it's undefined. So x minus 1 equals 0, x equals 1. This is not a critical number in this case. It's not a critical number because it's not in the domain of the original graph. How can it be a max or a min if it's not even a point on the graph, right? Because there's an asymptote there. So it's still important. Like we're still going to use it as a test point. So like when I do my little test point here, I'm still going to put 1. What I like to do is put an asymptote here. Because look, it can go from positive to negative. So it can go from increasing to decreasing, but it's still not a maximum. Okay? It just means that it's going from maybe increasing and then it's decreasing like that. But it's not a maximum because it's not a point on the graph. That's really important. Okay? So the difference with our example was there was no restrictions in the original function. So when I took the derivative, I ended up with the denominator. Then I got a restriction in my derivative. All it means is that it's not differentiable, but it's continuous. Okay? I hope you make sense of that, because that is so important. Like this one here, it's not continuous at 1, so therefore it's not going to be differentiable at 1. It's not a critical number, but it's still important, okay? Because things change around 1. To the left of 1, it might be positive, to negative, and so forth and so on. Okay, so, all right, so coming back to this one. So I forgot where we left off. So we're going to set the top equal to 0. That's where the derivative equals 0, which I got the 0. Then we set the bottom equal to 0, and I got plus or minus 3. So these are all critical numbers. So I did negative 3, 0, 3. I did my test points. I picked something smaller, in between, and bigger. And you're plugging it into the derivative. So I'm actually going to plug it to here. Usually you can kind of just get a feel for it. And then answer the question. Okay, so increasing because f prime is greater than 0. Decreasing because f prime of x is less than 0. A max at because f prime changes. Because you have to be very specific. Positive to negative, and then from negative to positive. Okay? All right, I hope that helped. is really make sure you understand this question. If you do not understand this question, please come see me, and I will explain it again and again until you get this. This is why I strongly urge. I know we take for granted this is so easy, but the AP is such a way of asking these questions that this is very challenging. So please make sure at the beginning is try to graph and graph and graph. Look at the graphs. See where you have cusps, see where you have asymptotes, see where you have slopes of zero. Make the connection. It will help a ton. All right, you guys, hope this helped. See you in the next video.